Hello again. I'm sat in my nice green leather hypno chair, as it's called. It's been with me for over 20 years, well over 20, probably 25 years. Literally thousands of people have been hypnotised in this chair. Thousands of hours of therapy which has helped create the Flourish programme. I like this chair, it's very comfortable, it's very comforting. Something about it, its energy, its feel, just makes me feel good. Maybe because so many other people have felt so good in this chair. I especially wanted to sit in this chair to do these videos, but especially this one. Rape. Now many people, they say it's mainly men rape girls, men rape women, men rape boys. Well, sorry, but ladies also rape boys. We're seeing it more and more in the papers anyway and on the news. It was always a hush-hush before, boys didn't say anything, etc. But it's time more boys actually came out and told the truth. Now I've actually waited a long time to tell this truth. In fact, my mother has gone to her grave, same as my dad's gone to his grave. Actually, my sister's gone to her grave. None of them ever knew this had happened. Not because I was in fear of the particular lady concerned, but because of my friend Dave, who has now recently died. I can say it. Because I didn't want him to know what his mum had done. Going back to when I was 13, I was just walking down the road, minding my own business, past their house, and she was hanging out of her bedroom window, shouting me to come over. She needed help to move something in the bedroom. Apparently Dave and his dad were off fishing. So I went in, and when I went upstairs, yeah, there was just a minor thing she could have moved on her own. She was obviously wearing next to nothing underneath the t-shirt she'd got on. And she made sure I got a good view of, shall we say, her womanly charms. Now in those days, 13-year-old boys, we're talking about 1966 it would be, this year would be 1966. Swinging 60s, you're hearing all about this stuff, and as 13-year-old boys we still haven't done sex education in school. I didn't really know what girls were about, as opposed to nowadays. Anyway, let's just say before long she was touching me, asking me to touch her, and I don't know if I was just terrified or what, but I know I felt sick. I can't say I felt disgusted, but I was sick, I was frightened, I was anxious, and I know that I didn't want to be doing what was going on. And I tried to get up to go, and she went to the door and she totally ripped all the top and everything off, and she said, if you try to leave, I will follow you into the street and I will shout rape, 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 rape. Now I'd sort of got an idea what rape was, and she said, I will tell people that you've come in here, you have attacked me, you will go to prison, or you'll go to Borstal, and in Borstal they whip you. I was, to be polite, crapping myself. Let's just say that day I found out what a woman's body was like, not that I wanted to, and I felt what it was like to have, let's just say, your manhood taken against your will. Now the strange thing is, old little Willie down there somehow still managed to work despite the fact I was terrified. Anyway, she let me go, and she said, if you tell anybody, I will tell them you did this, you will go to prison or Borstal, you're underage, you're the one that's done something illegal, I'm a grown-up, I've done nothing wrong. Terrified. And she said, next Saturday you come round again. Well, let's just say, over the next week I felt so anxious, so fearful, I wanted to tell, but I couldn't tell. There was also the concept of shame on my family, of me being carted off in a police van, arrested and going off to Borstal or prison. I didn't want that. I didn't want it for my family. Oh, anyway, the next Saturday I went. I actually peed myself when I got there. I was so frightened. She actually quite liked that. And let's just say I started to learn, let's just say, really intimately what a lady's body felt like and tasted like. And I experienced, let's say, oral sex, both giving and taking. This is not something that a 13-year-old should be doing with a woman in her mid-30s. And if I didn't do exactly what she wanted, the way she wanted it, she'd slap me, or punch me, or pinch me. And this went on, week after week, for 10 weeks. All the time, getting more degrading, dirtier, perverted, the things she wanted done, things she wanted to do to me. And if I didn't comply, she'd thump, she'd punch, she'd kick, she'd knead me in the nuts. And it just got worse and worse and worse. My mum even said, "Why's your face all red? What's that bruise from?" I couldn't tell her. My mum saw some bruises on my back. And she said, "Where are they from? What's that about?" And I just said, "Oh, local bullies again." Even she turned around and said, "You've got to learn to stand up to them." I couldn't tell her that Dave's mum had done it, that Dave's mum was making me play up her bum and all sorts of things. Well, on the final Saturday, I was and I'd lost weight. I couldn't concentrate at school. I was a bag of nerves. My mum was asking me what's going on. My dad's asking me what's going on. Teachers are asking me what's going on. I'd not been round to Dave's house. Dave's wondering, "Why aren't you playing with me? Why are you not coming round? What's happening? What's going on?" And yet Dave's mum swanning about, no problem. But on this final Saturday, which she wanted me to do, I'm not going to tell you on here, it made me vomit. And I don't just mean a bit sick, I mean I chucked up. And I chucked up seriously over the bed. She knocked 8 bells of crap out of me. She punched, she thumped, she kneed me, she kicked me, and she bit me. In rage. That what a pathetic little wimp I was, and how the hell is she going to explain this away, that there's puke all over the bed, and that she's got, and in those days it wasn't quilts, it was blankets. She'd have to explain it away. Her way was she was going to explain it away that the dog had gone upstairs and they got big enough. I think there's an Alsatian, I'm not sure, could have been a Labrador, I know they had both at some point. She was going to say that the dog had been upstairs and honked all over the bed, but it wasn't, it was me. She told me to be there the next week and get my life sorted in the meantime, or that's what she meant. The following week, when I turned up, absolutely so ill, so depressed, so I must say I probably even started to have suicidal thoughts. I really can't remember. I got to the door and she told me to F off because she got somebody better than me. I had such a sense of relief, except she did say if I ever told anybody, she would kill me. Now, after what she did and the things she said, and she had threatened me with a knife, what I should say is I had been threatened with a knife and I had been threatened with a poker. Now, in those days, just about all houses still had coal fires. She did threaten me with a poker to beat my brains in, or to burn my willy, or to stick this red hot poker up my bum if I didn't do what she said. She threatened to cut my willy and my balls off. And I was so terrified of that woman. Now, I can tell this story now because everybody involved who it could have hurt are now dead. There's only me. I'm telling this story because I want people to get over these things. I had to deal with it on my own. Everybody knew there was something wrong with me, and I just kept saying I was being bullied. Yes, I was being bullied, but I was also being raped, viciously raped, emotionally raped, physically raped, mentally raped. Every kind of rape you could think of went on. Felt in effect 10 weeks and an extra week, nothing happened on that 11th day. But I dealt with it. I had to deal with it on my own. So if you're out there dealing with this sort of stuff on your own, don't. Get out there and tell, because they can't really do anything to you. I did not know that at the time. I realised it later, when I'd made my big shift in my mind, that I could have told. But what would have happened to Dave? Wasn't his fault. Why should I destroy his life? Why should I destroy her husband's life? Maybe I should, because if she'd got someone else, I must admit at that time I didn't know if she had or not. And I have to say, I hardly ever walked along that road again. If I did, I was on the other side of the road. And the funny thing is, I did see her 2 days after my mum died, which is, at the time of this, is 10 years ago. And I was up there doing the funeral arrangements and everything, and I saw her. What a wizened old cow she looked. And she looked at me, and I looked at her. She put her eyes down, and she crept away. The thing is, I didn't feel hate for her, which I expected. I felt that she was nothing more than a pathetic old cow. Now, I shouldn't use those words. But I'm sorry, that's how I felt. It's how I still feel about her. What she did to me, though, have I forgiven her? Well, to believe it or not, yes. Because one of the ways of actually getting rid of the pain is to actually forgive somebody. And actually say, well, I'm grateful for what you did, because you learnt me a hell of a lot about how bad people can be, but also you taught me a hell of a lot of how powerful, how strong I can be. Remember, everybody's good at something. I became very good at letting go. I became very good at forgiving. I became very good at being grateful for all the crap in my life. Because that crap has allowed me to develop a kind of therapy that is literally helping hundreds, hopefully eventually thousands of people. I would never have been able to develop this if all this crap in my life hadn't happened. So if you've got any of these problems, if this sort of stuff's been going off in your life, just contact me. Call me. If you want to learn how to do this stuff, and you're a qualified hypnotherapist already, or a qualified counsellor, psychotherapist, and you want to learn this, call me. 01322 521011. Well, that's the present number. Might not be next week, next year, but it'll be on this blog. You'll be able to find me. Take action. Do something. Change the way your life is. And do not let these people ruin your life.